In this daily drop, we're going to talk about procrastination and its potential effect on your productivity. So let's go. All right. This is kind of a follow up, or I guess we're starting to create a little bit of a series of episodes that relate to kind of managing the business side of things when you are self employed, a freelancer, running a small company of your own. And I have to say, admittedly, that I am both a very organized and disorganized person. And what I mean by that is when I am putting together a proposal, a budget, a blueprint for a project, I am very, very specific. I don't like gray. I like black and white. I like to spend a lot of time really figuring out what it is that a project's going to be, and then being incredibly organized leading up to and during that project so that I can deliver what I am proposing as the project and is expected to be delivered as a project by a client. And the same is true for a lot of the other things that I do when I'm planning for and trying to put out materials. I'm very specific about them. I spend a lot of time with them. And that's fantastic. I also am relatively organized, not in a alphabetical, my album way or with things like that, but in terms of my space. It gets cluttered at times, but then I really can't work efficiently in a cluttered environment. So what I do is I make sure to declutter it, sometimes spending a half a day just doing that and organizing. Again, not A to Z, not everything with a label maker. I don't fault anybody for that. I think it's amazing. I've tried. But just making sure I know where everything is and that everything's set. It's sort of like in cooking when you have mise en place, which is in its place, and then being able to focus. And it goes back to that focusing thing and being able to get the job done. And the other one that I wanted to just mention is that thing over there, which is email. I think that we live in a world right now with SMSs, with texting and Slack and all of these other communications that we get, that there's a self-imposed, sometimes not self-imposed, it's imposed by other people, anxiety that is created when we receive a communication and then it's tag you're it. And that's really hard to function in a creative way. Or it's really hard to function creatively in that way or in that environment. And the same is true with emails. Emails sort of have that a little bit of a pause element to them. I think it's understood, but when you get a text, you feel like, or a Slack, you have to answer those immediately. I actually have a client that I work with where I said, my team can be on Slack, but if you want me to get my job done, or you want me to do my job effectively, then I can't be on that because I won't be able to focus. So you have to create your boundaries and your guidelines. But I will say, as sort of an add-on to doing one thing at a time to handle confusions and overwhelm, the other thing is if you receive a communication that you can handle right now, don't put it off, because we're receiving so much communication nowadays that it becomes almost impossible to keep up with it. So if you've got something that comes in as an email and you know that if you take 3 to 5 minutes to just hit reply and put together that reply and that communication, it's one more thing off of that list, which is directly connected to what I was talking about in that other episode. That's what I got for you. Don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.